Hello, myself Vanchika from BA Political Science Honours. Today I am here to present a presentation on the topic Parliamentary Committee. Let's begin with the definition that what are parliamentary committees. As we all know that the visible part of the parliament's work take place on the floor of the house. However, parliament has another form through which considerable amount of work is done. These are known as parliamentary committees. These committees are the small group of the MPs from both houses across political parties and they function throughout the year. Accordingly, a parliamentary committee means a committee that is appointed or elected by the House or appointed by the Speaker or the Chairman. The committee that work under the direction of the Speaker or the Chairman, a committee which presents its report to the House or to the Speaker or the Chairman, or has a secretariat provided by the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So, why do we need parliamentary committees? Friends, if we look at the recently concluded first session of the 17th Lok Sabha, we realize that the parliament sat for 37 days. In the last 10 years, the parliament met for 67 days per year on average, and this is a very short amount of time for MPs to able to understand the concept or the issue. Thus, the committee helped to make up this lack of time available on the floor of the House. Not only this, but the Parliament also increased efficiency and the expertise of the Parliament. For example, the Committee on Health and Welfare studied the Surrogacy Bill 2016. As MPs come from various varying background, they may not have the knowledge about the issues. For example, the surrogacy issue. They are not. There are many MPs who don't belong to the medical side, so they may not have the understanding of the details like fertility issue, abortion, regulation of the surrogacy. Thus, it is the parliamentary committees which provide them the experts and the independent consultations and thus help to finalize the report. This also helped to review the proposed laws, oversees activity of the executive branch and the government expenditure, help to develop expertise in subject. Not only this, but it also enable consultation with independent experts and the stakeholders. Types of parliamentary committee: standing committees and the ad hoc committee. Ad hoc committees are set up to work for a specific task and are dissolved once the task is completed. The select and the joint committee on bill are considered the main committee under this category, whereas the standing committees, unlike the ad hoc committee, are permanent and regular in nature. They are constituted from time to time accordingly to the provision of an Act of Parliament or the rule of procedure and the conduct of business. Both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha have a standing committee of their own. Earlier, in 1993, there are 17 department related standing committees. In July 2004, seven more such committees are added. On the basis of the nature of the function performed by them, standing committee can be classified into the following: Financial Committee, Departmental Related Standing Committee, and the other standing committee. Committee on Public Undertaking. It includes 22 members in total, out of which 15 members are elected by the Lok Sabha and 7 members are elected by the Rajya Sabha for 1 year. In this, the ministers are not eligible. The function of these committees are to examine the report and accounts of public undertakings, to examine whether the affairs of public undertaking are being managed in accordance with sound business principles. The last one is to examine the reports, if any, of CAG on the public undertakings. The third committee is on public accounts. It includes total 22 members, out of which 15 members are elected by Lok Sabha and 7 by Rajya Sabha for 1 year. Ministers are not eligible. The chairman of this committee is an opposition member. The functions are as follows: to ascertain whether the money granted by the Parliament has been spent by government within the scope of demand, only concerned with the executive of the policy laid down by the Parliament and its result. And the second kind of the financial committees, the Committee on Estimates. This committee includes 30 members elected by Lok Sabha every year from amongst its members for 1 year. Ministers are not eligible. The functions of these committees are as follows. First, it examines estimates of the ministries. Second, it suggests alternative policies in order to bring efficiency in administration. Third, it suggests the form in which estimates should be presented to the Parliament. Committee on Public Undertaking. It includes 22 members in total, out of which 15 members are elected by the Lok Sabha and 7 members are elected by the Rajya Sabha for 1 year. In this, the ministers are not eligible. The function of these committees are to examine the report and accounts of public undertakings, to examine whether the affairs of public undertaking are being managed in accordance with sound business principles. The last one is to examine the reports, if any, of CAG on the public undertakings. The third committee is on public accounts. It includes total 22 members, out of which 15 members are elected by Lok Sabha and 7 by Rajya Sabha for 1 year. Ministers are not eligible. The chairman of this committee is an opposition member. The functions are as follows: to ascertain whether the money granted by the Parliament has been spent by government within the scope of demand, only concerned with the executive of the policy laid down by the Parliament and its result. The second kind of standing committee is departmental related committee. It is introduced in 1993 and there are total 24 department related committees. It includes 31 members, 21 from Lok Sabha and 10 from the Rajya Sabha. The seats are allocated on the basis of the strength of the parties in the House. The committees such as Home Affairs, Finance, External Affairs are customarily chaired by a member of opposition. The main function of these committees is to ensure the oversight over each ministry. Other standing committees. Each house has a set of these committees to inquire into other matters related to Parliament and day to day business of the House. Lok Sabha has 16 committees and Rajya Sabha has 12. The number of members varies from 7 to 26, some with fixed term and some without fixed terms. A minister is not eligible to be a member of committees on women empowerment, government assurance, petitions, subordinate legislation and welfare of SCs and STs. Joint committees include members from both the houses. Such committees have about 15 members and are formed for one term of Lok Sabha. Example: Business Advisory Committee, Committee on Petitions, Subordinate Legislation, and the Government Assurance, etc. Ad hoc committees. As we have already discussed, that the ad hoc committee are appointed for a very specific purpose and cease to exist after the completion of the task. Example: Joint Committee to examine pricing of telecom license in spectrum. Committees of ethics, MPLAs, and the provision of computers to Lok Sabha members. Joint Committee of WAF. Metrics to measure the effectiveness of the committees. The effectiveness of the committees can be evaluated from two ways: quantitatively and the qualitatively. Let's see these. Quantitative evaluation, the number of reports. The number of reports submitted by a committee determines the effectiveness of the committee. For example, the Public Account Committee has totaled 39 reports, whereas the Committee on Ethics has only one. This shows the effectiveness of the Public Account Committee higher than the ethics. The second one is the time taken to submit reports. For example, DRCs get 2 to 3 months to submit the report, and in case the report isn't submitted in the stipulated time, extension is given. The third is the number of meetings held and the attendance of MPs. Example data on the demand for grants. You can have a look on the table that the finance DRCs has total 13 reports and the average meeting per report is 1 and the average meeting time per report is 7 and the total attendance is 50%. For instance, for a nuclear liability bill, the committee meet 13 times. The second, the committee meet only twice for bills such as anti-hijacking bill, etc. Though the number of meetings conducted by these committee is measurable, but the quality of work is different to judge. The Public Account Committee, with the composition of 22 MPs, had an average attendance of 11 MPs in the meetings. Qualitative evaluation. Studying the quality of recommendation proposed by the committee, the level of knowledge of the MPs, quality of discussion in the committees, acceptance of the committee recommendation, the impact of the committee influencing a policy can be measured by proportion of recommendations that are accepted and implemented. For example, the Subordinate Legislation Committee made 28 recommendations with an acceptance rate of 93%, whereas the DRC on HRD made 608 recommendations, but the acceptance of recommendation is only 7%. Thank you.